It's okay to be fearful, it's okay to be coward when it comes to money. You can still be rich. We all heroes at something and cowards at something else. My friend's wife is an emergency room nurse. When she sees blood, she flies into action. When I mention investing, she runs away. When I see blood, I don't run, I pass out. My rich dad understood phobias about money. Some people are terrified of snacks, some people are terrified about losing money, both are phobias. He would say, so his solution to the phobia of losing money was the little rhyme. If you hate risk and worry, start early. That's why banks recommend saving as a habit when you are young. If you start young, it's easy to be rich. I won't go into it here, but there is a large difference between a person who starts saving at age 20 versus at age 30. A staggering difference. It is said that one of the wonders of the world is the power of compound interest. The purchase of Manhattan Island is said to be one of the greatest bargains of all time. New York was purchased for $24 in trinkets and beads. Yet it yet if that $24 had been invested at 10 8% annually, that $24 would have been worth more than 28 trillions by 1995. Manhattan could be repurchased with money left over to buy much of LA, especially at 1995 real estate prices. My neighbor worked for a major computer company. He has been there 25 years. In 5 more years, he will leave the company with 4 millions in his 401k retirement plan. It is invested mostly in high growth mutual funds, which he will convert to bonds and government securities. He will only be 55 when he gets out, and he will have a passive cash flow of over 300,000 a year, more than he makes from his salary. So it can be done even if you hate losing or hate risk, but you must start early and definitely set up a retirement plan, and you should hire a financial planner you trust to guide you before investing in anything. But what if you don't have much time left, or would like to retire early? What do you handle the fear of losing money? My poor dad did nothing. He simply avoided the issue, refusing to discuss the subject. My rich dad, on the other hand, recommended that I think like a Texan. I like Texas and Texan. He used to say in Texas everything is bigger when Texan wins. They win big, and when they lose, it is spectacular. They like losing, I ask. That's not what I'm saying. Nobody like losing. Show me a happy loser. I'll show you a loser, said Rich Dad. It's a taxing attitude towards risk, reward, and failure. I'm talking about it's how they handle life. They live it big, not like most of the people around here. Living like roaches when it comes to money, roaches terrified that someone will shine a light on them, whimpering when the grocery clerk shortchanges them a quarter. Rich Dad went on to explain what I like best is the Texas attitude. They are proud when they win and they brag when they lose. Texans have a saying, if you're going to go broke, go big. You don't want to admit you went broke over a duplex. Most people around here are so afraid of losing they don't have a duplex to go broke with. He constantly told Mike and me that the greatest reason for lack of financial success was because most people play it too safe. People are so afraid of losing that they lose, were his words. Friend Tarkan, a one time great NFL quarterback, say it is still another way. Winning means being unafraid to lose. In my own life, I've noticed that winning usually follow losing. Before I finally learned to ride a bike, I first fell down many times I've ever met. A golfer who has never lost a golf ball. I never met people who have fallen in love, who have never had their heart broken, and I've never met someone rich who has never lost money. So for most people, the reason they don't win financially is because the pain of losing money is far greater than the joy of being rich. Another saying in Texas is everyone wants to go to heaven, but no one wants to die. Most people dreams of being rich, but are terrified of losing money, so they never get to heaven. Most people Most people dream of being rich but are terrified of losing money, so they never get to heaven. Rich Dad used to tell Mike and me stories about his trips to Texas. If you really want to learn the attitude of how to handle risks, losing, and failure, go to the San Antonio and visit the Alamo. The Alamo is a great story of brave pupil who choose to fight knowing there was no hope of success against overwhelming odds. They choose to die instead of surrendering. It is an inspiring story worthy of study. Nonetheless, it is still a tragic military defeat. They got their birds cake, a failure, if you will. They lost. So, how do Texans handle failure? They still shout, "Remember the Alamo." Mike and I heard this story a lot. He always told us this story when he was about to go into a big deal and he was nervous after he had done all his due diligence and now it was put up or shut up. He told up this story every time he was afraid of making a mistake or losing money. He told us this story. It gave him strength, for it reminded him that he could always turn a financial loss into a financial win. Rich Dad, I knew that failure would only make him stronger and smarter. It's not that he wanted to lose, he just knew who he was and how he would take a loss. He would take a loss and make it a win. That's what made him a winner and other loser. It gave him the courage to cross the line when others back out. That's why I like Texan so much. They took a great failure and turned it into a tourist destination. That's make them million. But probably his words that means the most to me today are these: Texans don't bury their failures, they get inspired by them, they take their failures and turn them into relying cries. Failure inspired Texan to become winner. But that formula is not just the formula for Texan, it is the formula for all the winners. Just as I also said that falling off my bike was part of learning to ride. I remember falling off only made me more determined to learn to ride, not less. I also said that I have never met a golf golfer who has never lost a ball to be a top professional golfer. Losing a ball or a tournament only inspire golfer to be better, to practice harder, to study more. That's what make them better for winner. Losing inspire them for loser. Losing defeat them. Quoting John D. Rockefeller, I always try to turn every disaster into an opportunity. And being Japanese American, I can say this. Many people say that Pearl Harbor was an American mistake. I say it was Japanese mistake. From the movie Tora Tom, a somber Japanese admiral said to his cheering subordinates, I'm afraid we have awakened a sleeping giant. Remember Pearl Harbor became a rallying cry. It turned one of America's greatest losses into the reason to win. This great defeat gave America strength, and America soon emerged as a world power. Failure inspire winner, and failure defeat loser. It is the biggest secret of winners. It is a secret that losers do not know. The greatest secret of winners is that failure inspires winning. Thus, they are not afraid of losing. Repeating Franken quote, winning means being unafraid to lose. People like Frank Frankenton are not afraid of losing because they know who they are. They hate losing, so they know that losing will only inspire them to become better. There is a big difference between hating losing and being afraid to lose. Most people are so afraid of losing money that they lose. They go broke over a duplex financially. They play lives too safe and too small. They buy big houses and big cars, but not big investment. The main reason that over 90% of all the American public struggles financially is because they play not to lose. They don't play to win. They go to their financial planners or accountant or stockbrokers and buy a balanced portfolio. Most have lots of cash in CDs, low yield bonds, mutual funds that can be traded within a mutual fund, family, and a few individual stocks. It is a safe and sensible portfolio, but it is not a winning portfolio. It is a portfolio of someone playing not to be lose. Don't get me wrong, it's probably a better portfolio than more than 70% of the population, and that's frightening because a safe portfolio is a lot better than no portfolio. It is a great portfolio for someone who loves safely, but playing it safe and going balance on over investment portfolios not the way successful investors play the game. If you have little money and you want to be rich, you must first be focused, not balanced. If you look at anyone successful at the start, they were not balanced. Balanced people go nowhere. They stay in one spot to make progress. You must first go unbalanced. Just look at how you make progress walking. Thomas Edison was not balanced, he was focused. Bill Gates was not balanced, he was focused. Donald Trump is focused. George Soros is focused. George Patton did not take his tank wide. He focused them and blew through the weak spots in the German line. The French went wide with the Maginot Line, and you know what happened to them. If you have any desire of being rich, you must focus, put a lot of your eggs in a few baskets. Do not do what poor and middle class people do. Put their few eggs in many baskets. If you hate losing, play it safe. If losing makes you weak, play it safe. Go with balanced investment. If you are over 25 years old and are terrified of taking risks, don't change, play it safe, but start early. Start accumulating your nest egg early because it will take time. But if you have dreams of freedom, of getting out of the rat race, the first question to ask yourself is, how do I respond to failure? If failure inspires you to win, maybe you should go for it, but only maybe. If failure makes you weak or cause you to throw tantrum like a Paul Brett who call an attorney to file a lawsuit every time something does not go to their way, then play it safe. Keep your daytime job or buy bonds or mutual funds. But remember, there is a risk in those financial instruments also, even though they are safer. I say all this mentioning Texas and Friend Frankenton because stacking the asset column is easy. It's really a low aptitude game. It doesn't take much education. Fifth grade math will do. But staking the asset column is a high attitude game. It takes guts, patience, and great attitude towards failure. Loser avoid failing, and failure turns losers into winners. Just remember the LMO. Reason number two, overcoming cynicism. The sky is falling, the sky is falling. Most of us know that the story of Chicken Little who run around warning the barnyard of impending doom. We all know people who are the way, but we all have a chicken little inside each of us. And as I stated earlier, the cynic is really a little chicken. We all get a little chicken when fear and doubt cloud our thoughts. All of us have doubts. I'm not smart. I'm not good enough. So, dollar, and so it's better than me. Our doubts often paralyze us. We play the what if game. What if the economy crashes right after I invest? Or what if I lose control and I can't pay the money back? What if things don't go as I plan? And we have friends or loved ones who will remind us of our shortcomings regardless of whether we ask. They often say, what makes you think you can do that? Or if it's such a good idea, how can someone else hasn't done it? Or that will never work, you don't know what you are talking about. These words of doubts often get so loud that we fail to act. A horrible feeling builds in our stomach. Sometimes we can't sleep. We fail to move forward, so we stay with what is safe and opportunities pass us by. We watch life passing by as we sit immobilized with a cold knot in our body. We have all felt this at one time in our lives, some more than others. Peter Lynch of Fidelity Magellan Mutual Fund fame refers to warning about the sky falling as noise, and we all hear it. Noise is either created inside our heads or come from outside, often from friends, family, or co-workers and the media. Launch recalls the time during the 1950s when the threat of nuclear war was so prevalent in the news that people began building fallout shelter and storing food and water. If they had invested that money wisely in the market instead of building a fallout shelter, they'd probably be financially independent today. When the roots broke out in Los Angeles a few years ago, gun sales went up all over the country. A person dies from rare hamburger meat in Washington state, and the Arizona Health Department orders restaurant to have all beef cooked well done. A drug company runs a national TV commercial showing people catching the flu. The ad runs in February, cold go up as well as sales of their cold medicine. Most people are poor because when it comes to investing, the world is filled with chicken little running around yelling. The sky is falling, the sky is falling, and the chicken littles are effective because every one of us is little chicken. It often takes great courage to not let rumors and talk of doom and gloom affect your doubts and fear. In 1992, a friend named Richard came from Boston to visit my wife and me in Phoenix. He was impressed with what we had done through stocks and real estate. The price of real estate in Phoenix was depressed. We spent 2 days with him showing him what we thought were excellent opportunities for cash flow and capital appreciation. My wife and I are not real estate agents. We are strictly investors. After identifying a unit in the resort community, we called an agent who sold it to him that afternoon. The price was a mere 42,000 for a two bedrooms two townhome. Similar units were going for 65,000. He had found a bargain. Excited, he bought it and returned to Boston. 2 weeks later, the agent called to say that our friend had backed out. I called immediately to find out why. All he said was that he talked to his neighbor and his neighbor told him it was bad deal. He was paying too much. I asked Richard if his neighbor was an investor. Richard said no. When I asked why he listened to him, Richard got defensive and simply said he wanted to keep looking. The real estate market in Phoenix ran, and by 1994, that little unit was renting for $1,000 a month and $2,500 in the peak winter months. The unit was worth $95,000 in 1995. All Richard had to put down was $5,000 and he would have had a start at getting out of the rat race today. He still has done nothing and the bargain in Phoenix are still here. You just have to look a lot harder. Richard backing out did not surprise me. It's called buyer rumors and it affect all of us. It's those doubt that gets us the little chicken won and a chance at the freedom was lost. In another example, I had a small portion of my assets in tax lien certificates instead of CDs. I earned 16% per year on my money, which certainly beats the 5% the bank offers. The certificates are secured by real estate and enforced by state law, which is also better than most banks. The formula they are bought on making them safe. They just lack liquidity, so I look at them as 2 to 7 years CD. Almost every time I tell someone, especially if they have money in CDs, then I hold my money this way. They will tell me it's risky. They tell me why I should not do it. When I ask them where they get their information, they say from a friend or an investment magazine. They've never done it and they are telling someone who's doing it why they shouldn't. The lows I yield I look for is 16%, but people who are filled with doubts are willing to accept 5%. Doubt is expensive. My point is that it's those doubts and cynicism that keeps most people and poor playing it safe. The real world is simply waiting for you to get rich. Once a person doubt keeps them poor, as I said, getting out of the right race is technically easy. It doesn't take much education, but those doubts are crippler for most people. Cynics never win, said Rich Dad. Unchecked doubts and fear creates a cynic. Cynic criticize and winners analyze was another of his favorite saying. Rich Dad explains that criticism blinded while analyzed open eyes. Analyzes allowed winners to see the critics were blind and to see opportunities that everyone else missed. And finding what people missed is key to any success. Real estate is a powerful investment tool for anyone seeking financial independence or freedom. It is a unique investment tool, yet, every time I mention real estate as a vehicle, I often hear I don't want to fix toilet. That's why Peter launched Call Noise. That's what my rich dad would say is the cynic talking, someone who criticizes and does not analyze, someone who lets their doubts and fear close their mind instead of open their eyes. So when someone say I don't want to fix toilets, I want to fire back. When makes you think I want to? They are saying a toilet is more important than what they want. I talk about freedom from the rat race and they focus on toilet. That is the thought pattern that keeps most people poor. They criticize instead of analyze. I don't want hold the key to your success, Rich Dad would say, because I too do not want to fix toilet. I shop hard for a property manager who does fix toilets, and by finding great property manager who runs houses or apartments well, my cash flow goes up. But more importantly, a great property manager allows me to buy a lot more real estates. Since I don't have to fix dollars, a great property manager is key to success in real estate. Finding a good manager is most important to me, but the real estate, a great property manager often hears of great deals before real estate agents do, which makes them even more valuable. That is what Rich Dad mean by I don't want holds the key to your success because know I do not want to fix dollars either. I figure out how to buy more real es- real estate expedite by getting out of the rat race. The people who continue to say I don't want to fix toilet often deny themselves the use of this powerful investment vehicles. Dollars are more important than their freedom. In the stock market, I often hear people say, I don't want to lose money. Well, what makes them think I or anyone else likes losing money? They don't make money because they choose to not lose money. Instead of analyzing, they close their minds to another powerful investment vehicle, the stock market. In December 1996, I was riding with a friend past our neighborhood gas station. He looked up and saw that the price of oil was going up. My friend is a worrywart or a chicken little to him. The sky is always going to fall, and it always does on him. When we got home, he showed me all the stats as to why the price of oil was going to go up over the next few years. Statistics I had never seen before. Even though I already own a substantial share block of an existing oil company with the information I immediately began looking for and found a new undervalued oil company that was about to find some oil deposits. My broker was excited about his new company and I bought 15,000 shares for 65%, 65 cents per share. In February 1997, this same friend and I drove by the same gas station and sure enough, The price per gallon had gone up nearly 15% again. The chicken little worried and complained. I smiled because in January 1997 that little oil company hit oil and those 15,000 share went up to more than $3 per share since he had first giving me the tip, and the price of the gas will continue to go up if what my friend says is true. Instead of analyzing their little chicken closes their mind, if most people understand how stop work in stock market stock market investment, there would be more people investing to win instead of investing not to lose. A stop is simply a computer command that sells your stock automatically if the price begins to drop, helping to minimize your losses and maximize some gains. It is a great tool for those who are terrified of losing. So whenever I hear people focusing on their I don't want rather than what they do want, I know the noise in their head must be loud. Chicken Little has taken over their brain and is yelling, the sky is falling and tires are breaking, so they avoid their don't want, but they pay a huge price. They may never get what they want in life. Rich Dad gave me a way of looking at Chicken Little. Just do what Colonel Sanders did. At the age of 66, he lost his business and began to live on his social security check. It wasn't enough. He went around the country selling his recipe for fried chicken. He was turned down 1009 times before someone said yes, and he went on to become a multimillionaire at an age when most people are quitting. He was a brave and tenacious man. Rich Dad said of Harlan Sander. So when you are in doubt and feeling a little afraid, just do what Carl Sander did to his little chicken. He fried it. Reason number three, laziness. Busy people are often the most lazy. We have all heard stories of a busy businessman who works hard to earn money. He works hard to be a good provider for his wife and children. He spends long hours at the office and brings work home on weekends. One day, he comes home to an empty house. His wife has left with the kids. He knew he and his wife had problems, but rather than work to make the relationship strong, he stayed busy at work. This made his performance at work slips and he loses his jobs. Today, I often meet people who are too busy to take care of their wealth, and there are people too busy to take care of their health. The cause is the same. They are busy and they stay busy as a way of avoiding something they do not want to face. Nobody has to tell them deep down they know. In fact, if you remind them, they often respond with anger or irritation. If they aren't busy at work or with the kids, they are often busy watching TV, fishing, playing golf, or shopping. Yet deep down, they know they are avoiding something important. That's the most common form of laziness. Laziness by staying busy. So, what is the cure for laziness? The answer is a little greed. For many of us, we were raised thinking of greed or desire as bad. Greedy people are bad people, my mom used to say, yet we have inside of us this yearning to have nice things. New things or exciting things, so to keep the emotions of desire under control, often parents found ways of suppressing that desire with guilt. You only think about yourself, don't you know? You have brother and sister was one of my mom's favorites. Or you want me to buy you want? You want me to buy you what? For a favorites of my dad, do you think we are made of money? Do you think money grows on trees? We are not rich people, you know. It wasn't so much the word, but the angry guilt trip that went with the words that got to me. Or the reverse guilt trip was the I am sacrificing my life to buy this for you. I'm buying this for you because I never had this advantage when I was a kid. I have a neighbor who is stone broke but can park his car in his garage. The garage is filled with toys for his kids. Those spoiled brats get everything they ask for. I don't want them to know the feeling of want are his everyday words. He has nothing set aside for their college or his retirement, but his kids have every toy every made. He recently got a new credit card in the mail and took his kids to visit Las Vegas. I'm doing it for the kids, he said with great sacrifice. Rich Dad forbade the words I can't afford it. In my real home, that's all I heard. Instead, Rich Dad required his children to say, how can I afford it? He is reasoning the words I can't afford it shut down to your brain. It didn't have to think anymore. How can I afford it? Open up the brain, forced it to think and search for answer. But most importantly, he felt the word I can't afford it were a lie. And the human spirit knew it. The human spirit is a very, very powerful, and he would say it knows it can do anything by having a lazy mind that say I can't afford it. A war breaks out inside you. Your spirit is angry, and your lazy mind must defeat its lie. The spirit is screaming, come on, let's go to the gym and work out. And the lazy mind say, but I'm tired, I've worked really hard today. Or the human spirit say, I'm sick and tired of being poor, let's get out there and get rich. To which the lazy mind say, rich people are greedy, besides it's too much bother. It's not safe. I might lose money. I am working hard enough as it is. I've got too much to do at work any day. Anyway, look at what I have to do tonight. My boss wants it finished by the morning. I can't afford it. Also brings up sadness, helplessness that leads to despondency and often depression. Apathy is another word. How can I afford it? Opens up possibilities, excitement, and dreams. So rich dad was not so concerned about what you wanted to buy, but that how can I afford it? Created a stronger mind and a dynamic spirit. Thus, he rarely gave Mike or me anything. Instead, he would ask, how can you afford it? And that's include college, which we paid for ourselves. It was not the goal, but the process of attaining the goal we desired that he wanted us to learn. The problem I sense today is that there are millions of people who feel guilty about their greed. It's an old conditioning from their childhood, their desire to have the finer things that life offers. Most have been conditioned subconsciously to say you can't have that or you will never afford that. When I decided to exit the rat race, it was simply a question how can I afford it to never work again? And my mind began to kick out answer and solutions. The hardest part was frightening my real parents' dogma of we can't afford that or stops thinking only about yourself or why don't you think about others or don't and other such words designed to still guilt, to suppress my greed. So, how do you beat laziness? The answer is a little greed. It's that radio station W2FM, which stands for what's in it for me. A person needs to sit down and ask what's in it for me. If I am healthy, sexy, and good looking, or what would my life be like if I never had to work again, or what would I do if I had all the money I needed without the little greed, the desire to have something better. Progress is not made. Our world progresses because we all desire a better life, but inventions are made because we desire something better. We go to schools and study hard because we want something better. So whenever you find yourself avoiding something you know you should be doing, then the only thing to ask yourself is what's in it for me. Be a little greedy. It's the best cure for laziness. Too much greed, however, as anything in excess can be, is not good. But just remember what Michael Douglas said in the movie Wall Street. Greed is good. Rich Dad said it differently. Guilt is worse than greed. Guilt is worse than greed. For guilt robs the body of its soul, and to me, Eleanor Roosevelt said it best. Do what you feel in your heart to be right, for you will criticize anyway. You will be damned if you do, and damned if you don't. Reason number four, habits. Our lives are a reflection of our habits more than our education. After seeing the movie Conan, staring Arnold Schwarzenegger, a friend said, I love to have a body like Schwarzenegger. Most of the guy nodded in agreement. I even heard he was really puny and skinny at one time. Another friend added, yeah, I heard that too. Another one added, I heard he has a habit of working out almost every day in the gym. Yeah, I'll bet he has to. Nah, said the group cynic. I'll bet he was born that way. Besides, let's stop talking about Arnold and get some beers. This is an example of a habit controlling behavior. I remember asking my rich dad about the habits of the rich instead of answering me outright. He wanted me to learn through example as usual. When does your dad pay his bills? Rich dad asks. The first of the month, I said. Does he have anything left over? He asked. Very little, I said. That's the man that's the main reason he struggles. Such sad rich dad. He has bad habit. Your dad pay everyone else first, he pay himself last, but only if he has anything left over, which he usually doesn't. I said, but he has to pay his bills, doesn't he? You are saying he shouldn't pay his bills. Of course not, said Rich Dad. I firmly believe in paying my bills on time. I just pay myself first before I pay even the government. But what happens if you don't have enough money? I asked. What do you do then? The same, sad rich dad. I still pay myself first. Even if I am short of money, my asset column is far more important to me than the government. But I said, don't they come after you? Yes, if they don't pay, if you don't pay, said rich dad. Look, I did not say not to pay. I just said I pay myself first even if I am short of money. But I replied, how do you do that? It's it's not how. The question is why, Rich Dad said. Okay, why? Motivation. Sad Rich Dad. Do you think will complain louder if I don't pay them, me or my creditors? Your creators will definitely scream louder than you, I said, responding to the obvious. You wouldn't say anything if you didn't pay yourself. So you see, after paying myself, the pressure to pay my taxes and the other creditors is so great that it forced me to seek other forms of income. The pressure to pay becomes my motivation. I've worked extra job, started other companies, traded in the stock market, anything just to make sure those guys don't start yelling at me. That pressure made me work harder, forced me to think, and all in all made me smarter and more active when it comes to money. If I had paid myself less, I would have felt no pressure, but I'd be broke. So it is the fear of the government or the other people you owe money I too that motivates you. That's right, said Rich Dad. You see government bill collectors are big bullies, so are bill collectors in general. Most people give into these bullies, they pay them and never pay themselves. You know the story of the 96-pound weakling who gets sent kick in his face. I know that I see that ad for weightlifting and bodybuilding lessons in the comic book all the time. Well, most people let the bullies kick sand in their face. I decided to use the fear of the bully to make me stronger. Other get weaker, forcing myself to think about how to make extra money is like in going to the gym and working out with weights. The more I work my money muscle out, the stronger I get. Now I am afraid of those bullies. I like what Rich Dad was saying. So if I pay myself first, I get financially stronger mentally and physically. Rich Dad nodded. And if I pay myself less or not at all, I get weaker. So people like bosses, manager, tax collectors, bill collectors, landlords push me around all my life just because I don't have good money habit. Rich Dad noted just like the 96-pound weakling. Reason number five, arrogance. Arrogance is the ego plus ignorance. What I know makes me money, what I don't know lose me money. Every time I have been arrogant, I have lost money because when I am arrogant, I truly believe that what I don't know is not important. Rich Dad would often tell me. I have found that many people use arrogance to try to hide their own ignorance. It often happens when I'm discussing financial statement with accountants or even other investors. They try to bluster their way through the discussions. It is clear to me that they don't know what they are talking about. They are not lying, but they are not telling the truth. There are many people in the world of money, finances, and investment who have absolutely no idea what they are talking about. Most people in the money industry are just spontaneous of sales pitches like used car salesmen. When you know you are ignorant in the subject, start educating yourself by finding an expert in the field or find a book on the subject. Chapter 9, Getting Started. I wish I could say acquiring wealth was easy for me, but it wasn't. So, in response to the questions, how do I start? I offer the thought process I go through on the day by day basis. It's really is easy to find great deals. I promise you that it's just like riding a bike after a little wobbling. It's a piece of cake, but when it comes to money, it's the determination to get through the wobbling that's personal thing. To find $1 million deals of lifetime require us to call on our financial genius. I believe that each of us has a financial genius within us. The problem is our financial genius lies asleep, waiting to be called upon. It lies asleep because our culture has educated us into believing that the love of money is the root of all evil. It has encouraged us to learn a profession so we can work for money, but failed to teach us how to have money work for us. It taught us not to worry about our financial future. Our company or the government would take care of us when our working days are over. However, it is our children educated in the same school systems who will end up paying for it. The message is still to work hard, earn money, and spend it. And when we run short, we can always borrow more. Unfortunately, 90% of the Western world subscribes to the above dogma simply because it's easier to find a job and work for money if you are not one of the masses. I offer you the following 10 steps of awakening your financial genius. I simply offer you the step I have personally followed. If you want to follow some of them, great. If you don't, make up your own. Your financial genius is smart enough to develop its own list. While in Peru with a gold miner of 45 years, I asked him how he was so confident about finding a gold mine. He replied, there is a gold everywhere. Most people are not trained to see it. And I would say that is true. In real estate, I can go out and in a day come up with four or five great potential deals, while the average person will go out and find nothing, even looking in the same neighborhood. The reason is they have not taken the time to develop their financial genius. I offer you the following 10 steps as a process to develop your God given power only you have control your power only you have control over. Number one, I need a reason greater than reality. The power of spirit. If you ask most people if they would like to be rich or financially free, they would say yes, but then reality sets in. The route seems too long with too many hills to climb. It's easier to just work for money and hand the access over to your broker. I once met a young woman who had dreams of swimming for the US Olympic team. The reality was she had to get up every morning at 4 a.m. to swim for 3 hours before going to school. She did not party with her friends on Saturday night. She had to study and keep her grades up just like everyone else. When I asked her what compelled her with such superhuman ambition and sacrifice, she simply said, I do it for myself and the people I love. It's love that gets me over the hurdles and the sacrifice. A reason or a purpose is a combination of wants and don't want. When people ask me what my reason for wanting to be rich is, it is a combination of deep emotional wants and don't wants. I will list a few. First, the don't wants for they create the wants, and I don't want to work all my life. I don't want what my parents aspire for, which was job security and a house in the sub suburbs. I don't like being an employee. I hated that my dad always missed my football games because he was so busy working on his career. I hated it when my dad worked hard all his life and the government took most of what he worked for at his dad. He could not even pass on what he worked so hard for when he died. The rich don't do that. They work hard and pass it on to their children's. Now the want I want to be free to travel the world and live in the lifestyle I love. I want to be young when I do this. I want to simply be free. I want control over my time and my life. I want money to work for me. These are my deep seated emotional reasons. What are yours? If they are not strong enough, then the reality of the road ahead may be greater than your reason. I have lost money and be sat back many times, but it was the deep emotional reason that kept me standing up and going forward. I want to be free by age 40, but it looks me until I was 4 with many learning experience along the way. As I said, I wish I could say it was easy. It wasn't, but it wasn't hard either. But without a strong reason or purpose, anything in life is hard.